One of the worst feelings in the world is to be incredibly busy but feel that you're not making any progress. You're fighting the good fight, but your approach is wreaking havoc on your health or compromising your well-being. Projects seem to take forever, progress comes too slowly, happiness is always a distant horizon never reached. I'm sure you've had this experience. I've had it many times where when I set about making a goal, making a target that I wanted to hit for the year or for the next 3 years, I'm really excited about it. But after a period of time, looking at that target actually made me sad. It made me depressed because in the pursuit of that goal, it's completely unwieldy, and in your attempts, you don't make any progress at all, or you get confused or stuck, or most of all, you just don't know what to do next. In today's video, I want to address a couple of really powerful ideas that I came across in Brendon Burchard's book, High Performance Habits. And there are a few ideas in strategic thinking that I came across in that book that I actually think are very useful. The first principle has 3 parts to it. Set goals, figure out your outputs, find a way to increase your outputs. If you want to become extraordinary, you need to figure out the outputs that matter in your field or industry. High performers have mastered the art of prolific quality output, PQO. They produce more high quality output than their peers over the long term, and that is how they become more effective, better known, more remembered. They aim their attention and consistent effort towards PQO and minimize any distractions that would steal them away from their craft. For the longest time, we've all heard about the importance of goals, how setting intentions or having clarity about what you want to achieve helps you inherently get towards that thing. But if there's one thing that I've discovered in the last 2 years, is that putting your attention on the related output rather than the target itself is vastly more powerful. Lately, I'm in this strange position where people are occasionally asking me for advice, especially about YouTube. They ask me how I've grown on YouTube in the last year or what they could do to emulate my success. People often talk about the importance of making quality content, but at least for my own end, I don't consider myself talented enough to make quality content. So my only focus up to now has been quantity, literally always uploading.
What's up, my no-fat brothers?
And I feel that that is the only marker that has contributed to my success. I am especially aware of my incompetence on YouTube now because I was actually invited into this super epic group chat with YouTubers like Thomas Frank, Joey from Better Ideas, Nathaniel Drew, and Ali Abdal. And in their company, in that group chat, I genuinely feel like the dunce of the class.
I don't know what this means!
But if there's one thing that's worked for me, and I'm hoping will continue to work for me, in moving towards my objectives, it has been focusing on the output and trying to increase quality while keeping output high. Figure out what you are supposed to produce and learn the priorities in the creation, quality, and frequency of that output. This is one of the greatest breakthroughs that you can have in your career. So the first principle is define your goal, but in defining your goal, figure out what your output is, and then ask yourself, how can I make this output more? The second principle is perhaps my favorite, and it's called the 5 moves principle. Basically, in achieving any huge objective, you can trace it down to 5 big moves that you need to make. Brendon Burchard gives the example of writing a bestseller novel. Would you be able to come up with a bestseller? I don't think I would, but he mentioned that you can break that down into 5 objectives, and if you hit each of those objectives, you will have a very high chance of producing a bestseller. The first move, and the most important move, would be to finish the book. Such a simple idea. It seems so obvious, but just in that first move, how many ways could people mess that up? You could focus on promoting the book before it's released. You could focus on trying to get an agent, a publishing agent, before the book is done. But unless you write a really good book and put everything you have into it, nothing else matters. Subsequently, you follow the steps of getting a publishing agent or self-publishing, reaching out to people who could promote your book, building an email list, promoting the book on that email list. But unless you go ahead and chart out the first step of actually writing the book, you won't achieve your objective. So for every big goal you have, ask yourself, what are the 5 moves, the 5 big moves that are bottlenecks at each stage, but if accomplished, would get me to the next stage, and by which I could ultimately achieve a really big ambition, like writing a bestseller. The third principle is also very simple, seemingly very obvious, but he breaks it down in a way that I really like. The third principle is get incredibly effective at key skills. There's nothing new in that. We've all been told several times that we should keep learning, continuous learning, getting better. But do you actually know specifically what the key skills are in your industry or towards that objective that you want to achieve? If you can specifically break down what the key skill is, maybe it's interviewing, maybe it's sales, maybe it's writing copy, maybe it's scripting, maybe it's editing. If you can specifically break down, I need to be better at this, and this, ultimately that makes you more effective. Once again, I'll give you the specific example of what I'm trying to do with this channel. The 3 things that I need to pay attention to most for success on this platform are getting great shots, writing a great script, and editing. Now, if I were to specifically rank myself at each of these skills, I would probably give myself a 6 at writing a great script, a 2 at getting great shots, and a 1 at my editing. And so recognizing the specific key skill that you need to improve on, creating a learning plan for it, getting better at it so that you can increase your quality outputs, so that you can move towards each of those 5 big moves and accomplish them, will very powerfully and very pragmatically help you accomplish that very large goal. And for those of us who are willing to increase the outputs, chart the 5 big moves, and to keep learning specific key skills, to us I say, greatness is coming. Wednesday.